This is Tracy Weslowski and her business partner Fred Collins. They're deal makers. Their mission is to crisscross the globe looking for the best investment opportunities. And while they share a passion for making money, their styles are slightly different. Fred's more interested in research reports and cold hard facts. Tracy is all about the energy of the people and the places. And even though they rarely see eye to eye, they do agree on one thing. In this business, it's all about deal flow.
Cheers to that.
Have you ever known the rich man, the successful, the hip, the famous, the in, the one who has everything, but no one ever achieves? Seriously, pull up your sleeves. Remember what I taught. Life is for the living.
On this trip, Fred and Tracy visit New York City, a global powerhouse in the world of fashion. They're in a fact-finding mission to explore investment opportunities within this multi-billion-dollar industry. Fred knows New York is arguably the fashion capital of the world and can fully appreciate that he'll be in the presence of some highly creative and original minds, which is why he wants to be prepared for anything.
Trace, I hope this isn't a ploy on your part to get me onto a reality-style makeover show.
Fred, don't worry. They haven't created Queer Eye for the Old Guy yet.
Tracy wants to learn more about an industry she has a personal affinity for.
I've always had a real passion for fashion, so I was very excited about going to New York City.
Our deal makers have a lot of ground to cover, so after arriving in the heart of New York City...
Good afternoon,
Good
Mrs.
afternoon.
Swavlovsky. It's a pleasure to see you. Mr. Cowens, it's a pleasure. Welcome to the Westin New York at Times Square.
I always tell people, get a hotel close to where your business meetings are because time is money.
Tracy finds a couple ways to prepare herself before they start pounding the pavement.
If you're going to be on the road with Fred, you're going to have a bottle or two of wine. So I was relieved to have a treadmill in my room to run off some of the extra calories.
In a bustling city like New York, sometimes the best way to get acclimatized to the intensity and energy is to get immersed in it.
I wanted to find out what was going on in the fashion industry in New York, so I tracked down leading analyst Dana Telsley, who has European and North American experience.
New York is one of the fashion centers of the world. What's happening? Is it growing or shrinking?
We've seen more international companies open new flagship stores here. Probably one of the grandest this year will be the opening of Topshop. Also, we'll have more companies opening flagship stores here in the city. Tommy Hilfiger's new store coming, Fendi just opened, and of course the Abercrombie & Fitch store on Fifth Avenue. And then it's also the home of designers and apparel manufacturing. So there's a host of reasons why anyone related to retail wants to be domiciled in New York.
I find it interesting that there are still some international retailers that have yet to make their mark in the U.S., and it's no surprise, of course, that they choose New York as the place to start.
So while Fred talks to this leading fashion analyst, Tracy meets with a fashion designer to get a more creative perspective.
Michelle, thank you so much for meeting me today. You came highly recommended as just a top-notch entrepreneur and designer in what is one of the most competitive industries out there. Can you tell me how you got involved in this?
I've been doing it ever since I was a kid, actually. I mean, I always liked fashion. The women that were doing things to me that I met in terms of being successful, they were entrepreneurs in fashion, so I wanted to follow that path.
I was looking forward to meeting Michelle. She's very passionate and driven, and this is a very competitive industry. She's an entrepreneur, she's creative, and overall, you have to have a lot of different skills in order to sustain a business in this particular industry.
Talk to me about how you market, your main brand right now is M-Shop.
A lot of web-based promotions, actually. The whole internet is really working for my company. We became an online company, and that's a lot of how we do the promotions and the outreach and even the research. And then I'm always in the middle of fashion.
Well, I'm surprised to hear you say there are more stores opening because I thought retail would follow banking and actually close down as branch banks were and go more online.
The ability to sell online in stores and in catalogs allows the brand experience to be that much differentiated.
One of the biggest challenges in this industry is how to stay cutting edge.
How can you identify trends? I mean, it's one thing to be smart and be an entrepreneur. That's one skill. It's another skill to be creative, but to be able to then also have the skills to produce high-quality products and then be able to identify trends. How do you do this?
It's not all about business. It's about being able to see what looks good and figure out what the people want. And then, there's research involved as well, because you need to be able to find your customer and talk to them and find out if they are on the same page as you are.
What are the key metrics for valuing companies when you're looking at the merchandising specifically?
We basically go around the country at least twice a year assessing what is full price versus what's on sale in many of the different stores.
Being on the street in New York, feeling the emotion and the energy, I can completely relate to understanding what goes on in stores in that respect.
Are your clients focused on the domestic North American markets, or are you seeing interest in your research on European and other markets?
We find that our clients are interested not only in the U.S. but globally too, because right now the world just is going so global that there is certainly a corresponding effect no matter where you are.
It's abundantly clear that we have to think globally, even if operations are currently only focused on a single market.
In a global economy, how does a small business stay competitive?
You really have to specialize, stick to your guns, and become almost a hand, have some kind of hand technique happening.
I can't tell you how often I've told Fred he should find another use for his hands.
Or a technique that the mass producers can't do with a machine.
It is very rare, and it is so exceptional to find someone who has both creativity and business savvy and has brought them together in a successful model.
Coming up, in the world of fashion, Fred learns there are some trends that he can relate to and others that, well, he can't.
Cue the music for I'm So Pretty.
While Tracy finds a way to combine business and pleasure.